Friends, and in this video we are going to learn about another kind of loops called as while loop and do while loop. So in the previous video we have learned the loop, and we learned about the for loop, and then we learned the for each. So here in this video we are learning the technique remains same, that the loop is when you want to have a certain lines of code get executed again and again depending on certain conditions, then you use the loop. So loop helps you do a certain thing again and again. Now for an example, just let me explain you that if the user wants to print I like Kotlin 100 times, then what he needs to do, that he needs to type it println I like Kotlin 100 times, then otherwise it is just wastage of time. And then how otherwise you can achieve the same feat using the for loop. So here I declare a variable, and this is for I, and then we'll use while I is less than or equal to 10. You can write 100 also if you want to do, and then you write println and then we'll use message equals I like Kotlin. And so I needs to be incremented because this is a variable now needs to be initialized. So let me set the value of I to be 0 initially, and then here I will be incremented by 1. So when I is 0, it means while, then this is called the condition. So while 0 less than or equal to 100, so it is true, and then this line of code will be executed, and then I will be incremented by 1 value. This is the postfix increment operator, and this increases the value of I by 1. Or else also you can write I plus equal 1. So this way also I keeps on increases by 1, and then again from here the control goes back to the beginning of the while condition, and then like I becomes 2, then 2 less than 100, then println I like Kotlin, then I becomes 3, then again it goes to the beginning, 3 less than or equal to 100, and then again comes back. So this keeps on looping until it reaches 101, because for 100 also 100 less than or equal to 100 will be true, but when I becomes 101, then 101 less than or equal to 100 become false, and then the code comes out of this loop, and here it comes to this, and they say I am out of the loop. Okay, so this is it, and now simply let me run the code, and then you'll find that how it works. Okay, so if you haven't watched my previous video, then you can watch the previous video. We have discussed a lot of things, and this is kind of 7th or 8th video of this Kotlin series. And then when you are done with the Kotlin, then we'll create Android application using Kotlin. So this you see that is running 100 times. If you want to print the value here, then loop, and then you print here $I, because that only is the value of I. Now suppose here, Kotlin $I, there it is not required, but if it remains it will have the value definitely 101. Yes. So now in the same condition, if you want to put just first to see, and then we'll discuss that if you want to break this loop, then how you can do that. So it means there must be certain situation, like suppose if you go by condition that if I is, now here you see loop value is I plus 1, 101, and this is going. Now I want to say that if you want to break the loop, then suppose the condition is that when I is equal to 65, so if I equals 65, and if I want to break here, like I want to come out of the loop. This is just an example, like suppose if you are looking for a particular element in an array, and then suppose array size is 100, and then if you have found the element at the 64th position, then there is no meaning, or there is no need to continue traversing through the array. So it's needed to break from the loop, and then you can return back. So this is what I'm trying to do. So here you see that when I will reach the value I65, then it will break the loop, and then you come directly to this one, and then I's value will be 65. So here I go, and then you see the code. This is called the breaking the loop, like when certain conditions are met and then you do not want the loop to continue, then you can break the continue. Now it's here, it's just continued from 1, from the 0 to 65, and it then broke out of the loop, or it just got out of the loop. There is also one more powerful tool called continue. Like suppose if I is 65 and I want to continue, like it just like carry on. So here I say that I put this one here and say I am in continue. Okay, and I mean this better write before continue, like I'm before continue. Just here I'll write continue, and one line I will write here after continue. And I want to change this condition as if I modular division 5 equals to 0, then I want to run this loop only 30 times. Okay, so the condition goes like if I modular division, like whenever the I is multiple of 5, like the 0, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25 and 30, and then it will enter into the loop. Interesting part is just see what happens when it enters into the loop. And then here I print this one, I am out of, I am still inside the loop. Okay, now let me run and then we'll do the analysis. So yes, there you see it keeps on happening, because I plus 1 condition is failing. Now here, now you see what happened. What happened means first output is yes. So here I'm inside the terminal. Okay, so I better change this one, because otherwise it will be difficult to explain. So if I equals 10. Like when I is 10, then only you break this one. So okay, now let's see how it works. So it means that from 0 to 9 it will continue printing this line. Now there is C. It is going inside this infinite loop, because when I is equal to 10, then again it sends you to the beginning of the loop. Okay, so I make it little more lesser because I don't want the loop to run so many times. So I loop is my final loop, will be running 10 times, and when I equal to 8, then I want it to go to the beginning, or I make it 2. Okay, now block it and run it. I want to hold the terminal so that I can show you and discuss how things are happening. It is just like when something happens, then also it says carry on, continue. So it says that, now you see, I before 2, so it sends the control back to the beginning, and that's why it's always coming like this, like 2. So it is just from here it is returning back to the beginning and then continuing. It is just like, suppose there is something fault and they say continue, ignore this, just go to the beginning. So the continue sends the control back to the beginning of the loop, and that's why this is running so infinite times, because when I is less than or equal to 10 and I is 2, then it just prints this first line and continue sends you to the beginning, and then it goes to the beginning of the while loop, then again it starts from beginning, and then again the same thing happening. That's why the whole thing is going inside the loop. So this is how the continue works, and this way you discuss the while loop. Now I want to say that I want to discuss the do while loop. Then we can use do. Our variable I is set to 0, and then we'll write println, and the message here is I am in do while loop, and there you provide the condition while I less than or equal to 10, and then you need to provide the increment operation. So I'll write I plus equals 1, and then I just write here I'm out of the loop, and this is called the exit control loop. It means even when the condition is false at the first hand, then also the program will run just once. So here I run, and there it goes. So this is all about the while and do while loop, and in the next video we'll learn something else about the other important things like the labeled loop in Kotlin. Thank you very much. Just subscribe to our channel.